All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live here with you on a Thursday. Mike Carver and Doug Kezirian as we get ready for all the action tonight. Rams and Seahawks to open up Week 16 monster game in the NFC. We have got a lot of NBA. The NBA Cup, like little break, games in and out here, 2 games here. That's over. Full slate of NBA tonight. Full slate of pucks tonight. There's college basketball, a bunch of women's games. Doug's been going all day with the women in the college basketball, so we have that too. Doug,
I'm glad you could finish that sentence. He's been going all day with the women. I wanted people to make sure they understood what you were going with there.
The women's hoops. There's been a lot of it today. Handicapping the women's hoops. Doug has been involved all day with that. There's been a lot of games. Tulsa, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, a lot going on with all of that. But we have action tonight, Doug. It's good to see you. How are you?
See, I didn't interrupt. That was just wanted to clarify. I didn't want anyone to think there's funny business going on. No, it's been a fun stretch. Obviously, these holiday not tournaments, but holiday schedule all day. 8 a.m. West Coast. You got women's hoops, men's hoops all day. We got bowl games. We got 9 a.m. kickoff. Sorry, 8 a.m. kickoff tomorrow. 9 a.m. kickoff. A playoff game on Saturdays. So a lot going on. NBA's back. I know we dipped our toe in yesterday, but we got there with some wonky bets with the second quarter under. So a little bit of everything going on, and it's really it requires us to roll up our sleeves, Carver, but that's what we're here for. Hopefully creating a little extra holiday cash for Christmas this time of year for our audience.
And I believe you are now 7-1 with the best bet. Is that the run that I think the current run for you is 7-1 with the best bet?
Yeah, I know 3-0 this week. Pretty sure I went 4-1 last week. So yeah, I think we're on a good heater. And I like my play tonight a lot.
The under, of course, last night in the second quarter of the Cavs game with the Bulls. We got there. Of course, I was locked in the final 5 minutes of Alabama, South Florida, down in Tuscaloosa. This kid on South Florida banged a couple threes in like the last two minutes of the game, and it just couldn't get there for us, Doug. But that's all right. We go back tonight, and we go after the Daily Double. We, of course, will start with the NFL because this is a monster game to kick off Week 16, final 3 weeks of the regular season, and that is, of course, the Rams in Seattle against the Seahawks. Seahawks minus 1.5 right now, 42.5 is the total. But I guess, honestly, Doug, before we even try to break this game down, there's been a lot going on with Puka Nacua this week. Off the field, there's been a lot going on with him. He was on some live stream the other day. He had a lot of things to say. But I guess the one that would be most pertinent to this game would be his comments about the refs. Puka, the refs are the worst. You don't think he's texted his friends in the group chat? Yo, you guys just saw me on Sunday Night Football. That wasn't pass interference. Basically saying the refs are just trying to get on TV, Doug. Puka's had a wild couple of days.
His brother's up to some no good too. But yeah, I think this is a thing. Now, do I think the refs are going to pull a Frank Drebin and be egregious with some officiating just to prove a point? And Nakua's going to get mugged and they're going to call offensive PI? No, I don't think the refs. But I mean, if you listen to Donaghy back in the day when they said, they united as officials when they didn't think when basically Allen Iverson had pushed a ref, he got fined but didn't get suspended, and saying other refs had it out for Iverson the rest of the season because they wanted to sort of take action into their own hands. These refs have egos, okay? And at times I don't believe them. I mean, just think about if every time you made a call, whatever sport, you're just getting yelled at all the time. Whether it be berated by a coach, berated by a player, maybe berated, not necessarily the same word, but everyone's got so much to say. And it's like half the time or 2/3 of the time they're full of it and they're wrong. So I could see how the refs could get annoyed. But I do think they make egregious calls because, you know what? They choke, just like players do, just like head coaches do. They're humans. So I wonder if there's going to be some sort of backlash or domino effect here. I'm not convinced it's going to be tonight, but I do think there could be some handsy situation with him in a corner where he may not get the benefit of the whistle here.
Yeah, I didn't even realize stuff was going on with the brother too. I mean, just getting past all the stuff that Puka has done over the past few days, the live streaming
Right.
after the game, the doing the live stream and making comments about several things. Then the brothers in trouble as well. But we get ready for tonight. The Rams are in Seattle against the Seahawks. Also, don't forget Bet Rivers NFL Primetime. First touchdown, second chance bet. We've got that going this evening. Users who opt in on the Bet Rivers app or at betrivers.com will receive a second chance token for any first touchdown wager on each game day of primetime NFL games. See the Bet Rivers app or their website for full details. -1.5 for the Seahawks. 42.5 is the total. Both teams, of course, coming into tonight, Doug, sitting at 11-3 atop the NFC West and the NFC as a whole. Huge game with huge implications here.
You don't want to be at the mercy of the market and just read the screen. But man, I tell you, when these Thursday lines move a certain way and it's opposite what happened earlier in the week, late money is usually the sharpest money possible. So if I didn't have an opinion, if I didn't know what the sport of football was, I'd be betting the Seahawks tonight. Okay. But usually what happens is they set up what's called a head fake. So you bet a certain way and then the number moves and then they come over the top and bet the other. Okay. So professional syndicates do that to set up a bigger bet closer to kickoff as the limits on the games go up higher. So on Monday, like a house limit might only be $2,000. So think about it. If they want to get an extra half point or 1 point, they'll bet the max on a Monday. And then a short week Thursday, you can come over the top at 50 grand because it's game day. So what happens a lot of times, these groups will bet the opposite side they want when they know they only have to go through the hoops and song and dance for a couple days. So if you look at the market, it opened Rams -1, went to 1.5 that day. The next day went to 2. And then that same day, the 15th, which is Monday, it came back the other way, pick 'em. So it went 2 points, and then the next day, Seahawks are favored, and then so we're sitting at 1.5, and I just think it's the right side. Now the weather cooperating, although Stafford's got a cannon, but no Devontae Adams, and I think the Seahawks. Remember the last game, he had 4 picks. Did Darnold? I, as a football handicapper, liked Seattle. I do. I just think that environment, that crowd, everything, a little bit of roll the dice with Darnold because he's not Stafford, but that defense and everything. And I do think the Seahawks were flat last Sunday against the Colts because they were looking ahead to this game. So I think the Seahawks are going to be flying around. I like the Seahawks, and the line movement from the week certainly tells me Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm with you, Doug. It's Seahawks for me. And look, I think you go back and you don't want to try to just completely go on the previous matchup in these division games. For them to have, in that spot in LA, had the ball down 3 with a chance to tie the game in a game where Darnold threw 4 picks and they really couldn't do anything offensively. That showed me a little something. I think that their defense is very good. They're at home. I don't think that the weather, the wind, I know they're saying there's big wind tonight. I don't think it matters too much in that place with the way the stadium's built, right, Doug? I mean, that Lumen Field's got those sides that come up. I don't think the wind is that much of an issue there. The Rams are dealing with all kinds of stuff. Adams as well, probably not going to be there. This just feels like Seahawks to me. Now, it doesn't mean that the division would be over or the conference would be over, Doug, because they'd only be a game up, and the Rams have, I think, the Falcons and the Cardinals to finish, while the Seahawks finish with Carolina and San Francisco. So, it wouldn't be completely shutting the door, but it would put them in the driver's seat if they were able to win this game here at home tonight. Don't
the Niners control their own destiny if the Seahawks win tonight?
I believe so, because they have that game in week 18 against them. So if the Niners won and the Niners,
I guess both teams do. Right.
Yes. So, but the Niners have to, I guess, obviously, like you said, control. They got to win their last 2 games, their next 2 games before that one, which is, of course, the Colts. And I think they play the Bears in the middle game before they play Seattle the last game of the season. So the Rams would have a lot more control if they won tonight. But the Seahawks obviously would be huge for them. Anything on the total, Doug? 42.5 tonight. Game kind of feels, we saw a, 22-19 game, something like that, the first time that they played. Feels like we could be in that area again tonight, especially with the Rams missing a key piece in Adams.
Yeah, I agree, but it's come down from 45 to 42.5. I just don't know if field goals are going to be a thing with the wind. I lean under, but I don't think I can get to the window with it. I do think you're going to get a punt near midfield early in the first half at some point or first quarter. That's really going to swing the total. I just don't think either team's going to march down the field and score a touchdown. I just really don't. So it's probably a game that for most of the game, the live total will be less than 42.5. So I think a position or something would be smart, but I do think there could be something wonky fourth quarter get to that sneaks over the total. So 42.5. I mean, there's key numbers in totals, not quite like the sides, but 41, 42 are key numbers, 40 even. So I'd lean under, but I wouldn't play it just yet. I may need to kind of get some visuals because I don't know, Carver. I don't know about the wind, and I've only been to the Kingdom, so I've never been to the Lumen Field, so I don't really know. But if the reports are rain and wind, I have to believe it.
Steve here in the chat box, is there an accepted penalties market? Maybe the refs will take exception to Puka's comments. There isn't an accepted penalties market. Now, sometimes, Doug, you get those in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, there's 5,000 bets at the Super Bowl.
Right.
Sometimes you do get those, but I kind of understand why they don't put an accepted penalties market out, especially with all the, we've had some issues in the NBA and things like that and others. You can't have the accepted penalties market. You don't want to give any reason for the refs, Doug, out there to throw an extra flag than they need to.
Well, that's what makes betting football so hard, right? You have these huge swings on third down, let's call it, and the units of scoring on 3 and 7. I mean, last night I was on the under, right? Or sorry, there was the over, and the guy missed a wide open guy, and then you get a missed field. I mean, that's college; it's different. But so much can drastically change on one penalty, especially spot fouls for pass interference. It makes it really tough and really difficult in this racket we discuss every day.
Yeah, we certainly do. Let's get to a couple props for tonight. There was a few that did catch my eye. The first one was, I'll go Kyren Williams first. Obviously, I think one of the things here is you're not going to have Adams out there. Maybe there's a little bit more reliability on the run, especially with the weather. And the Seahawk pass defense was pretty good against the Rams in the first meeting. And that means they did lean on Williams. He had over 90 yards in the first matchup. I know Corum's gotten a little bit more burn in the last month or so, but Williams is still the main guy. I mean, he had 15 carries last week, 13 the week before that. 55.5 seems a little light. And I get it, the Seahawk defense is good, but I'm going to try this over 55.5 with Kyren this evening.
So that's you touched on it. The Blake Corum component to this, and also game script. If the Seahawks are smothering that rushing attack,
right,
do you just have to put the ball in Stafford's hands? That's how I think this game plays out. Not that they're going to be down 3 touchdowns and have to be throwing in the second half. I think it's more just that stout defense, and they're not going to be able to do much because look, the Seahawks basically took Jonathan Taylor out of it last week, and I think they're going to have to force Stafford's going to have to beat him through the air. I really think that. So I'd be a little reluctant there, but that is a low number. I wouldn't be betting under though either.
It's a low number, and look, he did have part of that 90 plus last time. I think he had a 30 or a 35 yard run in it, so obviously that boosted it up a little bit, having a long run. But I think maybe we lean on Kyren a little bit here this evening. And the other one on the Seattle side for me is AJ Barner. Again, his best game of the year was against the Rams. He had 10 catches on 11 targets for 70 yards. So a lot of short stuff. We know the Rams gave Darnold lots of problems. He threw 4 picks, but Barner seems to be a guy, and he has in the past few weeks too. A little bit of security for Darnold, and it's a short 29.5. I'm going to take AJ Barner tonight with an over.
For it. Look, you have a good read on these, especially the touchdown markets. I pick my spots much more carefully. I'm more about narratives and things like that,
yes,
where I think because I just think the NFL game is so elaborate and complex that you might say it's a matchup thing, and they're bad against tight ends, or this quarterback thrives against too deep, or whatever. But I just think these coaches make adjustments mid-game that you don't see that in college, but you see it in the NFL. And then from week to week, there are a lot of adjustments. That's what makes props so difficult. And I'm much more of a situational handicapper too, like flat spot, things like that. And unless you get a rare situation like my breakdown of the second quarter under in last night's bull, I'm really playing amateur psychologist more than anything in all my handicapping. And frankly, we've been pretty hot because of it. So, we got there the other day, DePaul first half, things like that. I just think that's the way to go about a lot of it. And it's just hard to apply that same sort of rationale and line of thinking when it comes to props. So I kind of know my lane or lanes and stay in it. So that's why I'm very careful and reluctant. So I defer to you. When you have something like that, I was like, all right, Carver's on to something here.
Barner first touchdown at 12-1 tonight. I was going to throw you one touchdown because you know that I have to jump in the pool somewhere. Colby Parkinson has become a favorite of Matthew Stafford the last few weeks. He has 6 touchdowns in their last 7 games, including 2 touchdowns last week against the Lions. Yet we're still at plus 230 at Bet Rivers for Colby Parkinson tonight for an anytime touchdown. And you're not going to have Adams out there tonight either. So plus 230, anything over 2 for a guy who's got 6 touchdowns in the last 7 weeks, Doug, that'll get my attention.
Yeah, for sure. And things can get hot. And so, yes, previous matchups always have sort of an effect on the rematch. And then also it's kind of like golf, right? Like recent form versus course history, things along those lines. But I think you have to go dissect a lot of the plays. Like when Parkinson scored, like what was the thing? Was he the first option? Was he the third option? Was the team they were facing better against wideouts? And, there's so many elaborate things. This is what we talk about with betting trends, right?
Yep.
Is it road games or is there other factors involved, like who they played? And it's just, we oversimplify a lot of this. And, Steve Englum is chiming in. He loves Parkinson's TD. So don't let me talk you off of it.
No, I swear the world is on Colby anytime touchdown. You might be right, Petey. The world might be on Colby anytime touchdown. And guess what? I'm part of the world tonight. I'll be on it. The Colby Parkinson anytime touchdown at plus 230 this evening. Rams and the Seahawks in Seattle. Good one tonight for Thursday night football. Only a couple of those left, right, Doug? I think next week's the last one, right? Rams Christmas night with the Broncos and the Chiefs, the last Thursday night game that we will have this season.
Thank God.
I know, Thursday night. We will miss them a little bit, Doug, not having NFL on Thursday nights. We will miss them.
Well, during COVID, there was that talk. Is like, God, what I would give for a Titans-Jags stupid matchup.
Yeah.
I get it, but the quality of play sometimes on these Thursdays, and we have other sports, right? So It's not like we're bare bones operation here. I'm fine. I'd be fine if we had no NFL on Thursdays all season. I really would.
If the NBA and the NHL are going to give us 10 plus games every Thursday night, then we're going to be just fine. If they want to go.
Remember, college was the big Thursday night. You'd get some ACC matchup or something. Yep. It'd be, home dog catching 9.5 or 10 points, and they'd win outright.
Like everything else, Doug, the NFL has pushed in, and they have taken it over. So they've taken over Christmas, Thursday night.
They love taking every toy that someone else is playing with in the Sandlot.
NBA owns Christmas? Not anymore. We're moving in. Get out of the way.
Let's saturate with 3 games. Gosh.
All right. There you go. NFL, Rams and Seahawks this evening. We have another football game tonight as well. The Xbox Bowl, college football. Here we go. By the way, unders last night, right? Both games got under. The Cure Bowl and the Ventures Bowl. I did have to sweat out Delaware. Delaware was a win for me. But tonight we get Missouri State against Arkansas State. This is the Xbox Bowl, and they are hosting this. This is a new bowl in Frisco, Texas, is where we've got this. Arkansas State -1, 55 flat the total at Bet Rivers.
So you touched on, I was going to ask you this. Does the fact that we've had 4 for 4 on bowl games going under have any impact how you handicap this one?
Not for me personally, because I'm not playing the total tonight. I don't have any. I'm not going near the total. Do I think that maybe it's time to start thinking about some overs? Because they're gonna come, right, Doug? Like this isn't gonna. It's not gonna be just under.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Yeah,
we've had some very unique situations with all of these, right? So
these
you had backup
matchups are.
quarterbacks in both games yesterday in the early one, Old Dom and South Florida. Okay, so those were quarterbacks with both teams, and the coaches were sitting. Louisiana, their quarterback got hurt in the first half, so he's a dual threat. So that kind of impacted things. You saw him limping in the final drive, so that's going to be part of the equation. And there were just certain situations like missed field goal. So in terms of Boise State, Madsen was hurt, and then he finally got pulled, but he was the one that prevented that game from going over because we still got 38 out of Washington. And we all like the Troy-Jacksonville State under in that game. That total was just way too high. So that was a bad number. So I have yet to sort of create this like overarching theory, but I've made a mental note, and I'm wondering. But you have to it's all case by case, and if there's coaches on the move and things like that. Now with this game, I'm on the dog here. I would say don't get cute and take money line if you like Missouri State like I do, because it's a difference of 4 cents at Bet Rivers. You're going to want the +1 because you teams go for 2 at the end. Last night we almost had a touchdown at the end, and they would have gone for 2 as well, down 7. Also, Arkansas State has played 1 possession games and including 2 1-point margins. So take the 1 if you can get it. So don't get too cute here. But I just think they're going to be more up for this game. Arkansas State's coach, but he's been on fire in bowl games. But I think Missouri State's the right side here. I think they're going to throw at will against Arky State here.
Well, of course, you got to look at who's in and who's out. There are no opt-outs or injuries for Arkansas State in the game tonight. Missouri State is down a couple people. They lost a wide receiver, a defensive lineman. Their head coach took the job at Coastal Carolina, so he's not coaching in the game. But I'm going back to what got me Delaware last night, Doug. I'm going back to the same narrative. Missouri State, first time since coming up to the top level that they are playing in a bowl game. First true bowl game in school history. There's got to be something to it, Doug. I'm just like the Fighting Blue Hens last night. I'm going to Missouri State for that and that alone. And you're right, they could probably throw all over Arkansas State too tonight. So I like Missouri State.
Okay. I'm not. It's not one of my top plays because again, these bowl games have been crazy. I should have been all over Delaware. I did really like them so far. Delaware, look, they were up 14, almost blew the game, but that was the one I've had the most conviction in, and I didn't get, and I did not get involved enough. That's my mistake.
We do have a couple games tomorrow. Now let's we'll do these today, Doug, since tomorrow we're going to focus so much on the college football playoff with Alabama and Oklahoma and the 3 games on Saturday.
And these are early kickoffs.
And they are early kicks. In fact, one of them will be completely done by the time we even get on. And the other one will be probably just finishing the first half when we get on. So the Myrtle Beach Bowl, a tradition unlike any other. Kennesaw State and Western Michigan will get together for this. -3.5 for the Broncos and 47.5 at Bet Rivers.
What's tricky? It's a little early. Right,
Yeah.
11 a.m. Eastern. Who knows? The kids eat breakfast and whatnot. I think I'm on the under here. I saw some guys I respect talk about Kennesaw's pretty good. A little max here with the Western Michigan product. This game is just these games always seem to be a little sluggish. Western Michigan does not want to play like high scoring games. That's just not what they're about. They can if they have to. But they typically call, the unders are usually a way to go. Defense is their calling card. And I think Kennesaw is going to be fine here in terms of this. I don't really have a firm opinion on this. Kennesaw, give them credit. Obviously, strong performance in Conference USA and all that. We saw Jacksonville State yesterday. I think this could be a rock fight. I really do.
A rock fight where I will take the 3.5 points with Kennesaw State. My early season bowl narrative, Doug, it applies again here. Usually there's like one team the entire bowl season you could say this about. This is the 3rd team already. Kennesaw State playing in their first bowl game in program history against Western Michigan in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. So I will take Kennesaw State plus the 3.5.
We saw that with Delaware, right? Last night, how excited they were.
Delaware excited. Missouri State tonight excited. Kennesaw State tomorrow excited. New programs playing in bowl games. Maybe they give us a little something. The other game tomorrow, which will be on when we come on Betting Weekly Live, 4 o'clock East, 1 o'clock West. Memphis and NC State. So finally a couple, at least one team from a big conference. This is the Gasparilla Bowl, 2:30 East. This is, of course, played in Tampa at the Pirate Ship. NC State minus 3.5, 57.5 the total.
I have much more conviction here, and it's NC State, but
yeah,
I don't love laying points here, but I do have the over. I think NC State can throw all over this Memphis team. Memphis found themselves in a lot of shootouts. Also, this Tigers team was supposed to be Tulane. They had the inside track on the college football playoff, but then they blew it by losing at home to Tulane, and then they unraveled down the stretch. They come in here limping and then some, 3 straight losses. I don't think the Wolfpack are enough of a program for Memphis to kind of salvage the season and get up for this game. I know it's an ACC squad and everything like that, but I just don't think – I would not be shocked if Memphis is just checked out in this game. I have to take NC State, probably a team total over as well. I'd be very careful betting Memphis here.
I think that this is the first game that we circle. Like, let's say we do get another under tonight. Maybe that you say rock fight in the Western Michigan game early. I think this is the first game we could circle in bowl season. Up, 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 and away. Over that 57.5. I think we can get plenty of points in Tampa.
You worried about Memphis just kind of mailing it in?
That is probably a fear, but I guess that could be a fear in a lot of these bowl games. Sure. I guess that's we could be scared about that almost anywhere. But I'm gonna try. I'll probably play the over in this game tomorrow between Memphis and NC State. Try to go up, 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 and away. So there you go. The Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa tomorrow, along with the Myrtle Beach, and then tomorrow, Doug, we will do the college football playoff. Alabama and Oklahoma tomorrow night. And then the triple header on Saturday, heading ourselves into the weekend. All right, Betting Weekly Live here on a Thursday. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, as we get you ready for tonight's action. NBA, 12 games on a Thursday? This is outstanding. Now, I know we have the Knick game lined up first with the Pacers. I was thinking about this morning, and I said this is the first thing I'm going to bring up to Doug when it be involving the NBA whenever we do it. The Knicks and the Spurs are both playing tonight. The Knicks and the Spurs played in the big NBA Cup championship on Tuesday night. Does that make the both of them in such a short turnaround auto fades tonight, Doug, after playing?
I think it has to. I think especially the Knicks. I think it has to, right? Like, how do you not fade them in this situation, just given the celebration and everything like that? Now, it is an extra layer of weird and awkward because they're playing the team that prevented them from reaching the NBA Finals last year. Now it's the Pacers are a shell of themselves, but I think I mentioned it the other day on the show. I took a bath on the Pacers on Sunday against the Wizards. So this is their next game. They were terrible shooting the ball, 3-point land, 2-point land. It was a really bad performance. Carlisle touched on it. They've had a practice as well. I think the Pacers are going to, whoever they were playing, we're going to start strong and look decent. Now, obviously, they're shorthanded, especially at the center position. They just can't get it right. Huff's been okay, though. I'm taking Pacers first quarter and team total first quarter over. I don't think the Knicks are going to have any defense whatsoever when they play this. I just think they're going to be absolutely checked out. And why do you blame them to have any intensity against a team like the Pacers?
I don't blame them at all. In fact, I'm sure I didn't even realize they were playing it. I thought their next game was going to be tomorrow night at home against the Sixers, and they'd have a couple of days to celebrate. I didn't even realize till this morning they were playing. It's not a good sign. It's Pacers or nothing. It's got to be the Pacers. But I like that early first quarter with the nice jump on going after. And we got Nembhard here too, right? For points, rebounds, assists in this game?
Yeah, I think he's such a, the straw that stirs the drink. And I think he's been right around 6 or 7 assists. He's had some nice rebounds. And that's the other thing. Carlisle talked about how the team needs to crash the boards and get rebounds. because the Knicks are so good at it. And obviously that was a key part of why the Knicks won the cup over the Spurs, was the fact that they were able to crash the boards and offensive rebound. So I just think he's going to have a big game. His points props like 15.5. I just collectively, I think we're seeing 30 at a Nebhard. And in case you're wondering, for context, last year the Bucks, after winning the cup, played on a Friday. They got outscored 29-20 in the first quarter and lost by 23. Now that was against Cleveland, a very good team that was in Cleveland. And obviously the Cavs got the 1 seed last year, but it does give you a little perspective. It just, look, if these teams care so much about the bag of money and they celebrate and everything like that, they're going to have a ceremony on Friday and, blah, blah, blah. Well, then they're not going to care about the other games. It's that simple. So you just have to take that into account. You can't have it both ways is sort of how I view these things. And, I'm looking at the Lakers schedule from a couple years ago, right? They won the cup. I don't see the date. Who did they play and beat? Pacers? I don't know.
I think it was the Pacers that year in the final.
So that was on a Saturday. They killed the Pelicans, killed the Pacers. And then the following Tuesday, they lost by 2 at Dallas, and they were down 8 after the first quarter. And that was with Luka and everything. So Dallas was pretty good. I believe that's the year Dallas went to the finals. But either way, I just think it's a smart angle. And if it doesn't win, it doesn't win. But I think it's the right way to play. I do think the Pacers offense will be crisper than we saw against the lowly Wizards on Sunday. At least I saw the game. Nobody else did.
So on the other side of the coin, the Spurs lost that game on Tuesday night. And the Spurs are home, but they are playing the lowly Wizards. And this is 16. I've got this at Bet Rivers up to this second. This is bumped up to 16 now. 240.5 is the total. That's a lot of lumber for the Spurs tonight against the Wizards.
So the Wizards are terrible. So they're 0 and so they have 4 wins. Their previous 3 wins, they're 0-3 ATS in the next game. So they don't follow it up with a good performance. So we'll see about tonight in terms of winning outright and covering, let alone. And those, by the way, the average margin of defeat's like 25. And then off games they've lost by single digits, they're now 2-5 ATS in the next game. So when they play well, they typically not even just winning. It's when they cover, they lay an egg. So I'm definitely apprehensive of this Wizards team. Again, the Pacers were awful on Sunday, and maybe it was the early start time, little older legs, and the Wizards are younger. They're so bad. They're so bad, especially when they're playing well. McCollum's great, but they're so bad. And for what it's worth, last year, Thunder lost that game, and they were up 19 at half against Orlando. So maybe the Spurs take it out on them. I just don't know about Wemby here, right? His grandmother passed.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of moving parts here. His minutes count. You got the Champagne brothers squaring off, so that could be a good, fun little, prop action there.
It could be. I did not see anything with Wembanyama. I mean, not listed on on the injury report, but like you said, he could play and play 17 minutes tonight. Something like that. It could be one of those situations for him in there.
I'll just say this: forget the teams that play. These are all the teams playing today and yesterday. All-Star break historically has been really tough to bet, really dangerous. Going into the break, coming out of the break. So we have this mini break. I would just be careful in general with some of these teams. Now, they didn't go to Cancun or anything. They were practicing and stuff like that. But you always got to be careful here when there's a disruption to routine for any professional athlete in any sport.
A few of these other games tonight, like we said, huge night, 12 games in the NBA. The Heat are in Brooklyn against the Nets. Heat 7-point road favorites here, 228.5 the total.
I mean, this has got to be a silver platter for the betting gods, doesn't it? So Miami has lost 4 straight games. Okay. That is not good. We know about their culture and how great they are and everything. And they are the highest scoring team in the NBA in first quarters. They come out like they're NASCAR going bananas. And so we know about this Brooklyn defense. I think the Heat could just put up like 40 in the first quarter tonight. There's no reason they shouldn't. Now, they haven't played for a while, so the little bit of a rust thing, but I think they're coming in guns blazing here because they got to get back on track. And they light up first quarter, and these books get kind of lazy. We talked about it yesterday with the second quarter over under for the Cavs Bulls games. All they do for these quarter totals is the props. Like they just do it what's commensurate. So if the game totals 228.5, then they cut it in half and then cut that in half. And then that's the over under for each quarter. Sometimes they shade a little bit first half or second half, depending on some performances. But I think there's huge line value here for the Heat team total, and that's a banger in my world.
Heat team total in the first quarter, I got right now at 30.5. The Heat first
That
quarter.
feels low.
Feels low. So Heat tonight in Brooklyn. Tee it up and let it fly in that first quarter against the Nets.
I mean, how do you not? I mean, what? I mean, look, I don't have tomorrow's newspaper. Okay, so there's a chance. There's obviously a chance it loses, but how do you not bet that? Right? Like, don't you have to bet it?
Gotta bet it. I'm in. And look, we picked on the Nets early in the season in the first quarter too. A lot. There was a lot of first quarter against the Nets. We were picking on them quite a bit. So let's go back after them tonight. The Lakers are in Utah against the Jazz. Lakers road favorites minus 9.5 now. Just went up here at Bet Rivers. 242.5 down from 243 right now as well tonight.
So what's happened here is Markkanen's out. He's a late scratch this afternoon, and that's a big difference. But I think it's a great spot to fade the Lakers. I would play maybe the Jazz first quarter. This is prior to Markkanen. I'm still going to play first half overs. So the biggest reason the Jazz are better at home, obviously you have the altitude and everything, but the metrics say that. Offensive efficiency, okay? On the road, they are second worst in the entire league in offensive efficiency. Excuse me, 24th, not 29th, 24th, okay? At home, their offensive efficiency is 9th. And that's a big difference, right? There's no reason a team should be that much better at home than on the road in terms of offensive efficiency. And it all is because of the opponent having to go to the altitude and things like that. So I bang a lot of first half overs because sometimes you get blowouts and things like that. But I just think the Jazz can jump on the Lakers, especially with LA coming off an emotional win. So a week or so ago, they lost to the Suns at home and was embarrassed. They got blown out, just didn't have it. JJ Redick had to call timeout because LeBron was, frolicking and laughing with Dylan Brooks. They went into Phoenix on Sunday and won outright thanks to a 24-0 run in the second half, then blew like an 18-point lead, came down to the end, had to make free throws. Dylan Brooks got tossed. Wild finish. LeBron shanked a free throw for technical that would have given the tie, but he did get fouled on a three and made 2 of 3. It was just a wild ending. I think this is a huge emotional flat spot. Altitude, I think the Jazz are going to score at will in the first half before the Lakers sort of get their act together. Remember, no Austin Reeves, I believe, still for LA. So I like first half over here. I think that's the play just because it usually is the play whenever the Jazz get involved. We talked about the best bet streak I'm on. Well, earlier in the week, it was, I believe it was Mavs Jazz first half that we had on the over.
Yes, Reeves still out with the calf tonight for the Lakers in that one. A couple others that caught my eye. For the first time in 22 games, the Hawks will get Trae Young back tonight in Charlotte against the Hornets. Hornets been good to me lately. They're getting 5.5 at home. But the total's kind of right. 241.5 now this is up to at Bet Rivers. Trae back in the lineup. Hawks push the tempo a little bit here.
Yeah, maybe it's just I'm always a little uneasy when it's such a guy who impacts things so much, like a ball handler like Trae Young. Like tonight, Norm Powell's expected return for Miami. That's another reason why I like it. But like he'll be fine. He'll fit in seamlessly. But I just get a little uneasy. It's such a disruption to their normal flow. Hornets are kind of a mess, but my guy Brandon Miller's back. He's excellent. So I'd be a little uneasy here. This could be an absolute, up and down game, a track meet of points.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to sit on the sidelines for a Hawks game or two before I get comfortable jumping back in.
I might play the over tonight. I might go up and away with the Hawks and the Hornets in Charlotte. Lots of points. The Pelicans have been kind of spunky lately in terms of covering.
Oh, yeah.
They've been a bit of a covering machine recently. They're getting 10 at home against the Rockets. 235 the total there. Could we get maybe the Pelicans getting 10 at home here? The Rockets haven't been covering big numbers.
I like your style and your thinking because This is such a good spot because guess who the Rockets have next?
Who do they got next?
At Denver on Saturday,
Ooh.
who they just lost to in overtime. And Udoka said it was two of the worst officials he's ever seen. The league comes out and said they missed 3 calls down the stretch. And for those who bet on that game, like myself, and it was pick 'em, you're pretty upset. And I was. And I joked on our show the next day, said Udoka looked like he wanted to hit someone during that game. I can see them just salivating, thinking about going to that game in Denver, getting revenge on Saturday. And they have this stupid, in their eyes, stupid game in New Orleans here. I think you're on to something here. I'd say Pelicans like first quarter money line, first half money line, something like that where you get variance. And I'd lean into the variance because I think this is a really good opportunity here.
Pelicans first quarter money line plus 188. Pelicans first quarter money line. They're getting
sometimes you just feel so dumb though when they're like, "Oh God, this team stinks." But they, you know what? They're getting guys back. Derek Queen's been fantastic.
Yeah,
he's been kind of like another Sengun. So you got baby Jokic against babyer Jokic maybe, but Herb Jones is awesome. Trey Murphy's awesome. But there's so much youth. I mean, Zion off the bench in the last game. That was strange. Jeremiah Fears he's so baby faced, but Jordan Poole's back as well. I can't stand betting on him, but this could be a fun sort of Pelicans money line bet. Like I said, first quarter, first half money line, something like that.
Well, I'll keep that in mind tonight for the Pelicans. I think I'm going to be dipping my toe in the water one way or the other. Wow, this 18 now for the Thunder against the Clippers. 18.
Oh my goodness.
18.
It's a lot of points for Clippers.
I know the Clippers have been bad, but I mean, that's a lot.
So Harden has officially been ruled out for tonight. Well, that was one thing
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Is this the Thunder's first game
I thought was supposed to return?
Is this the Thunder's first game since losing to the Spurs on Saturday? It is, right?
Yeah. And the Clippers, it's a house of horrors for them at home.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a they're 3 no, that's on the road. They're 3-8 at home.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Not a lot of offense going around that clip joint without Harden.
That's tough. I can't lay 18 points.
I played 18 in game, just not pre-flop. I think this is but it's in OKC. Oh, Clippers on the road. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, Clippers. They're in OKC.
3-12. But ATS, they've been better.
The other games tonight, I'll quickly go through them. Raptors are in Milwaukee against the Bucks. Raptors are the road favorite in that. The Pistons are in Dallas against the Mavs tonight. Another road favorite there. Denver has the Magic in town. I got the Nuggets minus 6.5 right now. Warriors and Suns in Phoenix. Warriors the road favorite. And the Kings are in Portland against the Blazers. That's the rest of the NBA card.
The Dubs have been a mess. Okay, you got that fan writing the Jacob and the owner Lakeup, and he says something about Kerr. I mean, there's definitely some tension there. Steve Kerr's the longest tenured coach in the NBA right now. Klay Thompson over 10.5 points has my attention. That should be a high scoring game with Detroit. And I've touched on Klay off the bench, much better. I think this could be a nice situation where he hits a couple threes, gets in his little groove. So I would look there. Pistons have been world beaters. They're minus like 800 or something to win the division. Wow. Now that the Cavs are an absolute mess. I think that's the Central. Pistons they're a wagon right now, but the Mavs have been pretty good, especially when they figured out their point guard. They got the other Nebhard and then Brandon Williams off the bench playing point guard. So finally moved Cooper Flagg off the ball. Flagg's been fantastic. I think he's going to eat tonight. He really is so darn skilled. It's absolutely outrageous watching him and thinking to yourself that he's only a rookie. Just such a polished game and just has sort of a counter to every counter that an experienced defense will throw at him. So I'm kind of interested to see this game more than anything. But I'd look at Klay's props. I mean, Steph had 12 threes the other night and they still lost at home. So they're kind of a mess. Phoenix is a team that brings it, but I mean, on paper, the Warriors are much better.
Warriors are much better, that's for sure. There you go. NBA, 12 games tonight. Nice to have a full slate of NBA back for us here this evening, and we will tomorrow too on a Friday. So we are rocking and rolling with that. Other hoops tonight. College basketball. I'm not going to lie, Doug. I know you got a couple plays with the ladies. The men's slate tonight is it's not good. It's just not. The only ranked team playing is Georgia. They're laying some ridiculous number against West Carolina. I mean, other than that, I mean, I know it's always fun when Pepperdine and Long Beach State get together, but
Throw out the records.
throw out the records when those two play, but really not a lot on the men's side tonight, Doug.
I was looking to get back after just that stupid play on Gonzaga last night. I mean, come on. They started to pull away. They just ran out of time. They got to 29 and it looked like it was headed that direction, but
UCLA got
nothing
there.
jumps out
UCLA
on the men's
took
side.
care of business. UCLA took care of business against Arizona State.
Yep. We had a feeling that line movement certainly looked the part. I was looking, I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be one of those. I don't know, man. I just don't have anything that jumped out. I mean, there's a lot of games with a lot of weird matchups, and I'm just not getting involved.
It's ladies' night though in college hoops. Get ladies' night in college hoops for us.
It is ladies' night, so these are passed down. I can't give you much of a breakdown. I lost yesterday. That one got away from us. That was annoying, very frustrating. But we'll be fading Alabama in the future when the SEC play gets going because they are not very good at all. But what I'm being told, Wake is plus 4.5 at home against Miami. Miami's leading scorer out has not been reported. So that's something to keep in mind. And then Vanderbilt to lay the lumber against Albany. Vandy men's team getting a lot of buzz these days, undefeated, been awesome out of the gates. Women's team also pretty solid. Lay the 24.5 here.
Lay the 24.5, the Vandy ladies. And Vandy last night, by the way, they did not cover that number against Memphis, right? If I remember off the top.
No, it went to overtime and it still went under. Remember, that was the other thing that I loved the under, and it still went way under in OT.
Stayed under for us there. So college hoops for us this evening. If you like what you see here on Betting Weekly Live, as you should, make sure you subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube, where you can check us out. And, of course, all of our other shows, including Betting Weekly EPL. Dan Roebuck, Nigel Seeley, and Jack Wright breaking down EPL predictions and AFCON absences, particularly Man United with a lot of key absences this weekend. So make sure you see Dan, Nigel, and Jack, Betting Weekly EPL, getting you ready for all of the action coming up. All right, hockey. 10 games tonight for Dougie Pucks in the NHL. We did okay. We unfortunately LA scored late to not get me that puck line in Florida, Doug. I was very upset about that. But we had that under in the Devils and the Vegas Golden Knights late night. It was a dead under that those two
bet it live because it was the only thing left on TV that I had to get some. I did some chasing last night, so that helped.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you went to the under out in the strip. All right, let's go to tonight. 10 games on the schedule. A couple of spots that I do like here. I'll start with Minnesota. Actually, this is my favorite because we hit with Minnesota the other night. They are on fire. They've won 5 in a row. You could see how energized they are since getting Hughes in the lineup, getting the trade from Vancouver. They're on the road tonight as a road favorite in Columbus. Columbus stinks. I think once again, Doug, this is another spot. It's minus 124. I don't care. I love the way the Wild are playing, and I think they're going to keep rolling. And they are setting their eyes. They've got Colorado on Sunday, and they're one of the few teams who's beaten Colorado this year. So I love
the NFL and things like that. So there's some peaks and valleys. No, like rare to see like the Denver Broncos have won 11 straight. Are you worried about a little bit of a dip before the big game against Colorado?
No, because they have another game even before that against Colorado. Okay. So they have Edmonton on Saturday, Colorado on Sunday. They're playing two big teams this weekend. But this is just for me. Columbus is not a good team. And the Wild are playing at an excellent level right now. Wild are up there. They're playing really good hockey.
Yeah, and one thing I really like is that Columbus is coming off a win, just snapped like a long losing streak, 5 or 6 games, so they can breathe a little bit of sigh of relief. I think the Wild do get them tonight.
Let's go. Hopefully just as good a rocking chair as it was against Washington and against Boston. The last couple Wild games, they've just been smoking teams. So hopefully they continue on that path. Speaking of Boston, I do like the over with Edmonton and Boston tonight. These two teams, Doug, are in the top 10 of the most overs this year. The number is 6.5, but they've both been playing a lot of them. The questionable goaltend on each side. Now, Jari's been pretty good now since coming over to Edmonton this past week and a half, but he still likes to give up some goals. He even did the other night against his old mates in Pittsburgh. So I like the over 6.5 with Edmonton and Boston.
Okay, I got nothing there, but I defer to you on that.
And then I will give you a little pooch play tonight, little dog play. Philadelphia in Buffalo against the Sabres. Now, the Sabres have actually won 3 in a row, and they are coming home after a long trip. They played well out in Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest. They beat Edmonton, if you remember. They beat Seattle. They beat Calgary. And now this is their first game back home. So we have that first game home after a long trip. They've won 3 games in a row. But let's remember, Doug, at the end of the day, they still stink. They're the Sabres. All right, they're still not very good. Philadelphia's been playing pretty good hockey. Sabres shouldn't be minus 150 against anybody. I'm taking the Flyers as a dog tonight, plus $1.20 in Buffalo against the Sabres.
Right. They burned me the other day. Yeah. I think I was heavy on the puck line or something with the Oilers. Wasn't it 3-0 right away?
That was the game that we were talking about how Buffalo beat them in Buffalo, and there was the return match, and the Oilers decided to wait until they were down 3-0 in the third period to start playing, and they tied the game, and it went to overtime, and they lost. So that was the night with all of that for us. Elsewhere, Penguins have looked lost lately. They're in Ottawa against the Senators. Senators are minus $1.65 right now. Toronto and the Caps in DC. You know, Toronto has started playing a lot of unders lately. I think it's now 5 of their last 6 have gone to the underside. And that's a flat 6 against the Caps. The Kings, this actually might not be another. I might try this again, Doug. I tried to go after the Kings on the puck line last night, and they burned me with a late goal. I might try it again tonight with Tampa, minus $1.5 at plus 132. This is back-to-back nights for LA, 3 games in 4 nights. They look disinterested. They don't have their starting goalie. Lightning coming home after a couple. They've lost a couple games here. They lost that game to Florida the other night. I might lay the puck and a half plus 132 with the Lightning here.
Okay. Look, I got no opinion here. I picked my spots. Haven't the Kings just been on a complete spiral here?
Spiral. They've lost.
Horrendous.
Four
straight. They've only beaten like the Mammoth and,
right.
bad teams.
And this 3 games in 4 nights is against brutal teams. I mean, Dallas, Florida, and Tampa, 3 games in 4 nights. And you lose your starting goalie. That's a bad recipe. And they just look completely disinterested. Bunch of the King guys I know that follow the Kings say they just aren't playing with any passion right now. It's just not a good scene for LA. So I'm going to go to the Lightning again. Hopefully get back from that puck line last night. Rangers are in St. Louis. I don't think the Rangers should be that big of a favorite against anyone either, the way they're playing right now. But they are a pretty big favorite. They are 12-5-1 on the road this year, the Rangers.
I thought they were better on the road than at home. At least it started out the season that way.
They are better on the road. They are awful at the Garden for whatever reason. Seattle's lost 9 out of 10 as they roll into Calgary tonight. The Flames minus $1.77. And Dallas is a big favorite at the Tank. Late night at the Tank over? Flat 6? Stars.
It's hard not to get involved, isn't it?
We got it the other night, right? Calgary and San Jose was a barn burner. We got well over the total in that one. Now, I think the Stars are going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting there, I would think. We're probably going to need 4 or 5 of them out of them, but I think we can get there. A little late night over. That'll be our late night game tonight, Doug.
Right. Yeah, we nailed the late night total last night and here in Vegas.
We did nail the late night total in Vegas. So there you go. Tonight, NHL, 10 games for us on Betting Weekly Live. All right, Doug, it is time. Best bets and the daily double as we head into Thursday evening. I am going, staying where it was. I had the Wild the other night against the Caps. I love them again tonight in Columbus against the Blue Jackets. I'm going right back to it. Minnesota Wild minus $120 on the road in Columbus against the Jackets.
Okay, I feel really good about this tonight. I like your Wild, and I'm going to go Heat first quarter team total over 30.5. I just think if it loses, it loses, but they're coming off 4 straight losses. They absolutely need to get back on track. They're already the league's highest scoring team in the first quarter. So the stats, the narrative, they all line up. They're facing Brooklyn. It's on the road. That's something to consider. But in general, I think this is the best way to play this because the Heat are just going to run them off the court.
But it is the Nets. Remember that. It's the Nets.
It is the Nets.
It is the Nets, and that really trumps everything else, is that they're playing the Nets tonight, and that will be able to help get us there. So the daily double for tonight on Betting Weekly Live. Minnesota Wild money line in Columbus. Heat first quarter team total over 30.5 in Brooklyn against the Nets, plus 231 for the daily double this evening. On Betting Weekly Live. I like it, Doug. I'm fired up. Let's get it. We got a good night ahead of us here. This Rams-Seahawks game, the daily double. I am loading up and getting ready to go. Doug, we will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific, for a huge Friday Betting Weekly Live going into the weekend. Doug, I don't know how we're even going to have enough time. We have all the NFL for Sunday. We have the college football playoff, 4 games, including tomorrow night, Alabama, Oklahoma, a huge NBA slate, a bunch of hockey, college basketball. I mean, you got great games over the weekend we got to talk about. St. John's in Kentucky. I mean, there's a ton of huge games. We got a full Friday, Doug. You better rest up tonight.
I'm rested, but we got all these games going on. I'll be in mid-season form. We'll be locked and loaded for sure. Let's just bang out this daily double and cross tomorrow's bridge when we get there.
That's what I'm talking about. Tonight is the focus, the Wild and the Heat, getting us on that daily double. All right, Doug, I will see you tomorrow. Great job as always. Betting Weekly Live, Betting Weekly Studios, of course, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian. Have a great night. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you tomorrow here on Betting Weekly Live.